Good afternoon, Life Journey Family Ministry volunteers. I have some exciting news, something I'm really happy to share with you. Some of you may have seen in some emails that I've been looking to recruit some people who are ready to mentor and serve on a more regular basis with our kids. Let me first share the need and why this is so important. We had the other day, there was a child in one of our classrooms, um, and we didn't know what was going on in their family. They weren't acting any differently. The family seemed to be functioning in the same way they always have. And they happened to be in a classroom where they were with a teacher that they see on a regular basis. This is because of a relationship that they have with this teacher outside of our church. But because they saw this person on a regular basis, they saw this volunteer on a regular basis in a side conversation as they were just talking about life, as they were going through the materials. This child admitted that their parents were going through a divorce, and they had a great moment of ministry together, and the volunteer was able to pray with the child and help them kind of process some of that, and we were able to connect with the family at a later point, and it turned into this amazing experience. The only way that happened was because this volunteer was invested in the lives of our children, and they did that outside of the way that our ministry is set up. And for that, and to understand really what I mean there, I want you to think about, from a child's perspective coming in, what it's like in our children's ministry. We generally have teachers that serve once a month. And if they serve once a month, then at most, a child who's here every single week is going to see that person 12 times a year for about an hour. So 12 hours a year they spend with this person. Realistically, they're going to miss some time. They're going to have vacation, things like that. And so it's actually around 8. So the average child here will spend 8 hours a year with the person who's their volunteer, that is supposed to be their support and their mentor, and the person that they're gonna cry out to and ask for that person to be the hands and feet of Jesus in the moment. That's a really hard sell for a child who spends lots of hours with their teacher, lots of hours with their family. It's going to be really hard for them to talk about something with someone they only see 8 hours a year. And so because of that, we have a deep need for people who are here more often. And I've been sending out emails and requesting and talking to people individually, looking for just a few key people that would be willing to be here more often, like every single week. Every single week is a real hard sell. And I want you to know right up front that I don't want you all to work every single week. There's a trade-off. If you work every single week, you can't also be preparing throughout the week for what am I teaching this week? What's the story? You can't do both of those things. It's too much. You'll burn out. This is something that this volunteer experience, I want to be life-giving. I don't want it to be another job. And so there's got to be a trade-off. If we're going to have people who are serving every single week, we also need people who are serving once a month. Because the people who serve every single week, they don't need to be worried about what are we talking about this week. They don't need to be worried about preparing for the lesson. They don't need to think about any of that. They just need to show up. Show up every single week. Be ready to be present with these children, so that if the children have something that they need to talk about, there's somebody there. I think this is also going to help with some of the behaviors in the classroom, because when you only see someone 8 hours a year, there's not a lot of rapport to spend in getting the children to do what it is we want them to do. They don't feel like we've listened to them enough for them to feel comfortable listening to us. But if we have somebody that's in there every single week, then there's a lot more rapport built up with that person. So the exciting news is that we do have someone who's stepped into this role. And starting in October, Joanne will be serving in the classrooms with you in this role during second service. So if you serve during first service, not much is changing yet. This is just information for you to know about. But if you serve in second service in the older classroom, first to fifth grade class, this is especially important for you because this is a change that's starting in October. And so what that means for you, if you serve once a month or twice a month, then you're going to be responsible for making sure that you're prepared to do the lesson. You're going to know what story are we talking about, what activities we're doing. And when you go into the classroom, it's not that our mentors won't be available to help with those things. It's just that's not their primary role. And so you, as someone that serves once a month, you're going to be more responsible for making sure that we cover the material that we're supposed to cover and leading those activities. And the mentor is going to be focused on building relationships, leveraging rapport, dealing with behaviors and problems as they come up, because they're going to have the rapport to make that happen. And so the focus of your ministry may change a little bit as this change takes place. Currently, it's just set up for second service, first to fifth classrooms. But our long-term plan is to have this in every classroom, to have one person dedicated to every class to pour into the lives of the kids that are in that class. And I just want you to really think about the trade-off, that I know that this is asking a little bit more out of the folks that are used to coming in once a month and sharing the plan with another person. But I'm also asking a lot more from your counterpart. Instead of coming in once a month, they're coming in every week. And so there is the trade-off. If you are interested in this type of position, if it sounds interesting or something that you'd be willing to do, where you're less interested in the activities and you're more interested in building relationships and you're willing to do every single week, I'd love to talk to you about that. That's not a move that we'll make quickly to put Joanne in this position. We've talked quite a bit. We've gone over it, and so I'd love to start that conversation if you're interested. But the point of this video is just to let you know about it. I hope you find it as exciting as I do. I think this is going to be incredible for our kids. They're going to have a shoulder to cry on. I think it's going to help with behaviors in the classroom. I think it's going to help with burnout across the board. I think all of us will feel like our position and what we do is a little more intentional and important. So yeah, I hope you find it as exciting as I do. Thanks so much for all you do. Our children's ministry is growing and getting bigger and better every single week, and that is thanks to y'all's efforts. Thanks so much.